Today I'm going to show you how to make the Maxwell Blanket, an easy beginner-friendly knit that has the coziest plaid vibe without the fussy colorwork. And the best part, this pattern is totally free on my blog and you can get that right here. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make it step by step, but it is supposed to have the pattern next to you while you're making it. So if you want the premium PDF version without the ads, you can get that here as well. This is a Lion brand yarn kit, so you can get all of the yarn to make this blanket, plus the pattern to go with it. Best part about Lion brand yarn kits is that you can customize the colors, so you can get the Lion brand yarn kit right here. For this blanket, you will need Wool-Ease DK yarn. For the base of the pattern, the main color, I use the color olive, and then for the contrasting plaid, I use the color navy. And there are 3 sizes for this blanket: baby, lapghan, and throw size. So be sure to check the blog post to look for how many skeins you need for your specific size. You'll also need a tapestry needle, scissors, measuring tape, and then your needle sizes that you're going to need. You'll only need one size, the 5.5 millimeter size 9 needles, 40-inch circular, or you can do straight needles if that's what you prefer. The blanket is worked in one piece, and then these vertical stripes are woven sewn in at the end, but the horizontal stripes are worked into the piece of the blanket. It's also, the yarn is held double-stranded, so it's pretty thick and cozy and it works up really fast. The first stitch at the beginning of each row is slipped purlwise for a clean edge. So those are just some notes to be mindful of so you can successfully make the Maxwell blanket. To begin, we're going to cast on using our 5.5 millimeter knitting needles. And when you do 2 strands held double, you can do 1 strand from the outside and 1 strand from the inside of the skein. But for this blanket, since if you're making one of the bigger blankets, I would suggest just doing 2 skeins, obviously 2 of the same color, of yarn at the same time. That way it's just going to go faster and you don't have to untangle 2 strands from the same skein. That was really hard to say. 2 strands from the same skein. So that's what I prefer, but for this small demo, I'm just going to be doing it this way. And again, for this small demo, I'm just going to be making a very small swatch of it so I can teach you the important steps of how to do it, but obviously yours will be much bigger. So I'm just going to do the long tail cast on for this cast on for the blanket. So to begin, you're going to want to measure out how much length of yarn you need to be able to do this long tail cast on. So if you're doing the lapghan size and it says how many stitches, you need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and get enough of the length to be able to do that long tail cast on. So then you're going to, after you've measured it out and done all of the stitches just by measuring, then you're going to do a slip knot with both strands of yarn, insert your needle, and then we begin our long tail cast on. So to do that, I'm just going to, so I have 1, the slip knot counts as 1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I did 25 for my small sample, and now we are ready to begin. So for this blanket, it's a beginner blanket, and so all that is used for this blanket is just the knit stitch. So we're going to insert our needle under both strands of that first stitch, and we knit it. Next stitch, both strands, and we knit. We're going to do that all the way across for this first row. And then when we get to the second row, that's when we're going to begin doing our first slip stitch of the row. when we do it purlwise so that we can have a clean, polished edge. So I will show you how to do that. So here I am at the end of row 1 still. I have 2 stitches left. And so I'm just going to knit these like I do normally. I'm ready to begin row 2. To do row 2, I'm going to insert my needle purlwise into that first stitch, treating both strands as one stitch, and then I'm just going to slip it off. And then the second stitch I'm just going to knit, and I'm going to knit all the way down. So doing that slip stitch on that first stitch is very simple, but it makes a big impact, and I suggest you doing it for all of your blankets because it really does make a nice clean finished edge and looks really good. So I'm going to continue doing garter stitch for the next several rows. Be sure you check the pattern to know how many rows you need to do for your size before you switch to color B, but we'll meet back up for when we switch to color B. Before we switch colors, I wanted to show this to you. It is intentional in the pattern to have the exposed garter edge. You just see how it's blue and then green and then blue. And then the next stripe is solid blue. That's intentional. That was done on purpose to try to help create some contrast and make it look more like plaid stripes. So just take note of that in the pattern. So I've done a bit of my small sample in the green, so I'm ready to switch to the blue. I've got 2 strands of the blue as well. And so to begin this next row, I still am going to slip that first stitch, and it's going to be green. And when we weave in these ends at the end, if that bugs you, you can weave over that first stitch, but it really is just a personal preference, and I really don't think you can notice it that much. So going into the second stitch with our needle and then using the new color B, I'm just going to knit with that new color. And so going all the way down this row with color B held double, I want to show you what I was talking about with the stripes and how sometimes with garter stitch it can show through, the other color can show through. So you can see on the side that's facing me right now, I can only see green and blue, but if I switch it to the side that's away, you can see a little bit of blue right there, and then green and then blue. So in the pattern, it's written out so that you don't have to plan for that. I've done it for you, but just take note if you think that it's on accident. It's not. It was intentional to have some of the stripes have that extra green peeking through. So I'm almost to the end of this row here. I'm going to continue doing this small sample with a few rows of this blue, and then I'm probably going to go back to green, and I'll make this little sample into a square so that we can then do the vertical stripe plaids together. So we will pick back up on that spot. I finished my sample, and you can see what I was talking about with the garter ridges, how this stripe is an even block, but this stripe has the green dispersed throughout it. And again, that's on purpose. So I just wanted to point that out. So I did 2 stripes of the vertical plaid already, but let's do it together. So you're going to take color B and you're going to measure out 2 times the length, and you're going to cut it, and you're going to need 3 strands per stripe. So let me take this out actually, and then we'll just do this vertical stripe together. So in the pattern, it wants you to do an even vertical stripe and then to do an alternating one. So the first set of stitches, I should have showed you before I took this out, but essentially where there's blank and no plaid, this set will have it there. So, and then there will be blank where the blue is showing on this one. So you can see the first thing it wants you to do is to go up into the stitch and then So this is the stitch we just worked, and then down into the next stitch. So each stripe section is 2 stitches. So I went down. So you can see the stripe that we just made is shown here, but the vertical stripe that was existing, it's blank. That's why this is the alternating stripe. So it gives a woven effect. So then we skip 2 stitches and then go up into the next stitch. And then 1, 2, go down into the next, right here. Up, or skip 2, up, and then 1, 2, down, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, down, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, down. So you can see it actually works up pretty quickly because you can do your needle like that, and so it works up fast. And then after you've pulled it through like I did, like this, once you pull it through, then give the blanket a tug, and even do this if you need to make sure that the plaid stripes are even and showing. All right, so now let me just show you the alternating stripe. So in the pattern, it tells you what stitches to go in, but essentially the stripes are 1.5 stitches apart. So we've gone up into this stitch. Here's 1.5. So if you're looking at the umbrellas, the curves, this is 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 1 stitch. So our stripes are 1.5. So you're going to be going into, if you chose to go into the umbrellas for the main stitches, then the alternating stitches will go through the smiley faces. Going down into that first stitch, 1, 2, going up, down, up. Let me show you what it looks like. So you can see we have color here and it's alternating. So continuing down, up, down, up. And again, this is still just every 2 stitches, down, up, and then down. So if I leave it like this, it's going to be cinched, the blanket. So I'm just going to gently go like that, and it helps loosen up the woven effect and not make it so squished. So that's what it looks like. So we need to knot these strands to make it a tassel. So I'm just going to go down into that stitch that I went in, put my thumb in that circle to make a loop, and then put the strands, the 3 strands through that loop and create a little knot. Some of them are going to finish a stitch or 2 away. So to combat the 2 stitches that aren't on the edge of this side of the blanket, because if you look on the other side of the blanket, it is on that edge stitch, but we're going to have the knots all on one side to help it make it look more cohesive. So I'm just going to go down through that edge stitch. That's going to help anchor it, and then I can make my knot. So I do what I did before, go down, put my finger in that circle, then put the strands up through, and then close off that circle. Close off the knot. So you can see what it looks like. You can make these tassels as long or as short as you want them to, and then you just trim it off so that they're all the same length. For some, the yarn might be kind of crinkly, and so you just need to steam block it to make it nice and smooth and straight. So that is how you make the Maxwell blanket. Hey friends, thanks for watching this with me. If you are looking for more free knit patterns, I have this playlist right here that shows all that I have to offer. I have cardigans, blankets, scarves, vests, and I'm continually adding more of them, so go ahead and click on over here and pick your next project.